Good afternoon everybody, it's Jem here, welcome to my colouring cave, and today I have a little haul video for you. Just a few of the bits and bobs that have come into my cave in the last few weeks. I am not a huge buyer of or hoarder of art supplies. I'm actually incredibly picky, which is one of the reasons why I like the Scroller Box subscription, because it gives me a selection of new supplies every month that I can try out, and then if I really like something I can go buy it. I have done a couple of unboxing videos, so if you want to have a look through them, you can find them in my other videos. If I can figure out how to do it, I shall pop a link to it, and I think they usually appear in that corner there. Anyway, that's beside the point. So things that have come into my possession recently. The first thing, and probably the thing I'm most excited about, is what is in this envelope. I'd actually forgotten about this, just to the fact that I ordered it like forever ago. And some of you may know what it is already. It came from a company called 70 East Books, who are based in South Korea, and the lady is called June. She has an Etsy shop, and from her I ordered a very special colouring book, and I love the fact it comes in this little bag that June has hand stitched herself to try and protect it, which is just absolutely lovely. And here it is. This is Selene by Nicholas F. Trandavianata. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Wianata, or it might be Wyanata. It's in this protective sleeve, so I'm just going to pull this out. For those of you who are familiar with, we'll just call him Nick. Hey Nick. For those of you who are familiar with Nick's work, he did have a book that was supposed to be an art book, but people coloured in it, and there was huge complaints about the paper because it felt kind of like recycled newsprint. This is actually a colouring book, and so it's that's the purpose it's meant for. His drawings are like, they're almost like hybrid grayscale. They're neither one thing nor the other, but I absolutely love his artwork, and even if I was never to colour a single picture in this in my entire life, I'd still be happy because it's so pretty. So you can see there he has signed it, and apparently he does this with all his copies, which is absolutely lovely. The paper is so thick, it's really high quality, so he's obviously thought about this in terms of putting the colouring book together. And there is the cover image. The detail is just absolutely fantastic, it really is, and the line work is so neat and tidy. It's just absolutely stunning, it really is. So all of his pictures are of ladies, and they're usually adorned with some sort of headgear or flowers or, you know, things like that, and they are absolutely stunning. I can't wait to colour this one, and look at the detail, it's just absolutely phenomenal. I love really detailed illustrations when I'm colouring. It's just something that tickles me, I don't know why, so this is right up my street. These are absolutely beautiful. So as you go through, there's each illustration. On the back it tells you the name of the piece, so they do actually have names, which are really nice as well. This girl here with her tattoos in the background is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Really beautiful book. This girl with all the fruit in her hair. If this is something that you're interested in, I will put the link to June's Etsy page, which is 70 East Books, in the description for you. It is quite pricey because it's coming from South Korea, so depending on where you live, you'll have to watch for postage costs. I think all in I paid about £32, including the postage for it to come to the UK, so that there's a sort of guideline for you. It is by no means a throwaway purchase. It's something that you might want to think about, especially like me if you don't colour in exclusively, but it's, even as I said, for the artwork, it's just such a beautiful book. So I am super excited about this, and I can't wait to colour in it. It is quite a thick book as well. So yeah, I'm really impressed with it. Oh, there goes the camera. I gotta stop doing that. There we go. And this little cute design on the back, it's lovely. Oh. Okay, so that was the first thing that came in my haul. The second thing I have, which I am super duper excited about, are these. The Gansai, Gansai Tambi Pearl Colours. Now this is water-based pigment. I already have, the metallic gold set, which I absolutely love, and I do use them quite a lot. So when I found out they did these pearl colours as well, I was just straight in there. I'm like, I'm having some of that. So I wanted to test them out and see what they look like and just do a bit of swishing about with them just for giggles. So in order to facilitate that, obviously I need a paintbrush. Now it just so happens that I was in my local city last weekend, and one of my favourite shops that I always go into is I call it an IKEA for knickknacks. The shop is called Flying Tiger, or just Tiger sometimes. And they are a Scandinavian, I think they're a Danish company actually, and they do a little bit of everything in their shop. I am particularly fond, and I've said this already, of their sketch pads. They are so cheap and the paper's great. This is my little baby one that I keep just for diddling about on, Tigny Block, and I think I paid £2 for this, and it is pretty thick. The paper quality is good, and I kind of like the off-white paper. It just floats my boat. So the shop that I got this from, there's the little tiger logo in the bottom. If I turn it over, I'm pretty sure it tells you. Produced for Zebra AS, and that is in Copenhagen in Denmark. So I was right, they're Danish. Anyway, I digress. I bought a set of their paintbrushes. These were absolutely dirt cheap. They are numbered, so there's an 8, a 6. I can't read that one. I think it's a 2, a 4 and a 10. I'm not expecting these to be brilliant quality. Again, I think I paid a couple of pounds for them. So it'll be interesting to test them out. The 10 feels pretty substantial, and so does the 8 if I'm honest. I'm not sure about the quality of the bristles. I think we'll just have to wait and see what's what with them. They are wooden shafted into a plastic, what do you call that, a sheath? I don't know. Anyway, the end's plastic where the brush comes out. So they feel okay. They feel quite light. But I think they'll be quite comfortable to hold. I'm not overly concerned about that. So let's have a wee go and just see how we get on with these, if I can get into them. The colours that we have here look pretty nice. So we've got white gold, which incidentally is in the gold palette. In fact, I'll just get that. I'll show you that too while we're here. Because I've had it out, I've been using it. Helps if it's round the right way, Gem. Okay, so that is identical, that is the same colour. So we've already got that one. But that's absolutely fine, I don't have a problem with that. So we've got white gold, a pearl cobalt blue, pearl May green, pearl lemon yellow, pearl scarlet red, and a pearl pink. Oh, this is exciting. They're so pretty all together, look at them. They do look quite metallic-y. Obviously the reflection's going to, it's going to block it out and it's going to look metallic-y anyway. But when you actually see them with the naked eye, they do look pretty good. So, let me just find some watercolour paper. Watercolour paper, dig about here. I've got so many notepads and sketch pads and stuff. Okay, here we go. So this is 300 GSM watercolour paper in an A3 pad that I bought from my local WH Smith, who are one of our more widespread stationers in the UK. I quite like their art stuff, it says pretty good. Okay, I have a glass of water. I always have a glass of water when I'm doing videos. Last time when I did the scroller box unboxing, I had to forego it because there was watery things that came in the box. I have 2 glasses today. I have one for drinking out of and one for dipping my paintbrushes in, so everything's all good. So I think for the purposes of this, I'm going to use quite a big brush. I'm going to try the 8 with a slightly tapered point on it. And what I have found with these, having used them before, is you are better to splodge a little bit of water in. I'm just going to go straight for the blue because it's eyeballing me. And just give it a bit of a swish about. And just kind of let it sit for a minute. I have noticed that with other pans that I've used in the past, when they come like in cakes of colour like this, that seems to be the way forward. I've got a little bit of tissue here as well, just so that I can dab off my brush. Oh God, even on the tissue it's pretty blue. It's pretty blue. Okay, so let's see. That still feels really dry. However, the amount of paint that's coming off feels quite good. Oh wow, that is so incredibly pearly. It really is. That's amazing. It acts and behaves very, very similarly to the golds, so that continuity makes me happy because I'm comfortable with it. And what I have found with these paints is that obviously because they are water-based pigment, they are very, very soluble. And if you have an area like this, if you're going to, you know, fade out to a sort of wash, if you decide that, excuse me, that you're not entirely happy with how pigmented it is, or like me, I just say it's just not sparkly enough, this will take more and more and more until it is really, really deep and intense, almost until the point where you've painted on the paint and it looks like a paste that's going on rather than actual paint. It's absolutely fabulous. Having started with this brush, the brushes are okay actually. They're not wonderful. I mean, they're never going to be wonderful. However, I've got no bristle loss. I've got control over it. They're staying together really well. So yeah, I think I'm quite impressed with the brushes. But that paint, I don't know if you can actually see the pearlescence of it. Pearlescence, good word. There, if I tip that like that, you can see it a little bit. But it is super, super, super pearly. The blue's really nice as well, I like that. Okay, I'm going to try the big jumbo brush now, which is the 10. And I'm just having a splish splash in my glass. Splish splash. Let's go for, where should we go next? Let's go pearl pink. And again, I'm just sort of moistening it. Get it going a little bit. There we go. One of the things I love about these paints is you can see it coming off onto your brush tip, and it's really satisfying because it is a really high quality, thick paint. I just love it. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The colours in this are absolutely outstanding, they really are. They are so vibrant. One of the things that you will notice about these, because they have metallic pigment in them, you can actually see the pigment moving about within the liquid, and that gives you a lot of control, and you are able to manipulate it and move it about, again, to suit your, you know, whatever it is you're doing. And I find it's actually really helpful for building up layers when you're working, you know, as you're working. You can obviously let it dry and then go over again with another coat, which I tend to do with the gold ones anyway. But you have a lot more manipulative leeway when you're actually working with it when it's still wet. So it's just really nice paint. I really, really like these. I'm curious to try the yellow because in my experience, they'll kind of look like gold. Okay, I'm going to try I better not with the yellow. Let's go, okay, this is the 6 brush. And again, it's got a sort of flatter tip on it. Yeah, in my experience, this is going to either look like gold because it's pearlescent yellow, or it's just going to be really wishy-washy and, you know, not really do much of anything. But we'll soon find out. No, the colour seems to be picking up okay. Oh, my bad, would you look at that bad boy? It's definitely not wishy-washy, I think we can give it that. It's kind of hard to see the pearlescence of it. I mean, you can tell that it has a sort of sheen to it, but it definitely doesn't show up as much in the yellow as it does in the blue, for example. These brushes are actually quite nice. I'm quite enjoying myself here, swishing about. Okay, I'll have another go with this. It actually looks quite, the actual pan itself, it looks quite dirty. It's obviously the metallic pigment, but it looks as if someone's like, I don't know, like rubbed a graphite pencil in it and then tried to wipe it off or something. I don't know. But there's no sign of that sort of gritty darkness coming across in the paint when it's actually on the paper, so that's always something. Okay, here's the little diddy brush. This is like the detailer brush. Pearl May Green. See how this goes. Try and find a dry bit gem. You can see how vibrant these colours are and how much they're standing out. The green is absolutely no exception. This little brush is doing just fine as well. I'm quite impressed with that. I think for £2, I'm going to have to look it up. I will put a link in the description. But and these brushes were dirt cheap. And for someone like me who isn't a watercolour artist and isn't a painter, then I would say they're fine. For all the time that I would use them, really. I do tend to favour water brushes just because I've got the control as if I'm, you know, as I would have with a normal drawing implement. So I tend to favour them a bit more. And plus as well, I don't have to worry about water because you just squeeze the barrel and that's you, you're good to go. Bob's your uncle, as we would say. Okay, so the green's quite nice as well. Again, it is very vibrant. The last colour I've got here, I'm not going to test the white gold out just for the simple fact that you're not going to be able to see it. I might try, once this has dried a bit, I might try and go over the top just so that you can see it in action, but it's not going to be a true representation, obviously, of the base colour. Okay, so I'm using the lash brush now. It's a 4, which is probably the brush I would favour if I was actually painting something. A 4 is probably what I would use for the majority of it. Okay, Pearl Scarlet Red. That looks very sort of corally in the corally, you know what I mean. It looks coral coloured in the pan, and it says this is Scarlet Red. I don't believe that somehow. However, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Okay. It's definitely not Scarlet Red. It's actually quite orangey. It's orangey. Yeah, I don't like this one as much. It behaves exactly the same as the rest of the paint. I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's the colour, just because the others are so vibrant, I think this feels really washed out, and the pearl essence isn't nearly as immediately obvious as in some of the other colours. I don't know, this might be common to colours of this hue just because they are what they are. Yeah, I don't like this one as much. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Anyway, that lets you see some of the colours. I'm going to get a water brush just for the white gold because I've gone through all the paint brushes. Oh, this just won't do at all, will it? Here we go. Oh, that one's got no water in it. That's not helpful at all. This one's got water in it. Okay, these are my absolute fave, the Kuretake water brushes. I'm just going to give this a dip in here. You can't see what I'm doing, can you? There we go. I'll test this on my hand. I've got a habit of doing that. Okay, there we go. You can see that. Ooh. So, see how dry this is. Yeah, that's pretty dry now. Oh, just dipped my hand in the red. Forgot about that, didn't I? Schoolboy error. Okay, I was just wondering if you were going to see that on top of there, but I really don't think you are, because I can barely see it. Okay, I don't have any dark coloured paper left to show you. That's a shame. You're going to have to take my word for it that it's very shimmery and very silvery. Anyway, I would say that's a win. Those are fabulous. They are absolutely fabulous. See, the thing I like most about them is you can build it up and build it up until it basically looks like it does in the pan. It's that pearly and shimmery. These, oh, by the way, these also do come out of the box. I'll maybe do it with the gold one because they'll be dry right now. So if you have a palette of your own, you can take these out and slot them in. I just like to keep them in here because, well, just because, really. And I don't know what order they're supposed to be in. 903, 904, there we go. So that is our paint. Lastly, this is an interesting one. You may or may not have heard of Chameleon Markers. They are, some people think they're a bit gimmicky. They basically allow you to colour in a gradient with a marker without the hassle of messing about with blender pens, that kind of thing, and you can also gradiate from one colour into another. Now I'm not really a marker person, but I always like to try things out. So I do believe these came, I have 4 of them. I do believe these came in an art subscription box, hence the reason that there's 4 of them. I acquired these from a friend who tried them and didn't like them. I was like, yeah, I'll give them a go, it'll be fine. So yeah, I do believe if you buy them in a pack in the pens, they come in packs of 5, and they come in sort of groups of colours, so like skin tones or earth tones or that kind of stuff. So I think I've got a bit of a mixture here. They do have the names and the colours on the ends of them, so you can, you know, because normally you stack your markers on their side, you wouldn't stack them upright, so you can see them keeking out at you. There's another Scottish word. I need to stop using Scottish words. They're staring out at you, they're looking out at you. So I've got a burgundy colour, sand, deep black and vermilion. And you can see that they're obviously housed in families. RD must be reds and NU might be nudes. Nudes, I don't think you can see that very well. Can you see it now? So yeah, that's them. So let's just have a look at one of these markers. I'm going to do it with the red one because I think you're going to see that most. Everyone's like, they're absolutely huge. You don't have to use them like this because you feel as if you'd be like waggling it about all over the place. There are 2 sections to this marker. This part here with the clear area on it, this can pull off separately. So you're left with that, which is the actual marker. Now this is basically a colourless blender in this part here with a little nib on it. So that's the top part. The actual marker itself has 2 nibs. It has this like fine point bullet nib. Oh, come on camera, focus. There we go. Like so. And it also has a brush marker. I love these brush tips. Even if I wasn't going to use them with the blendery part, I still like them just to use. They're real nice to use. So let me just get some paper. I couldn't find any marker paper, so this is just copy paper, and I've got about 16 million sheets there. These are alcohol based markers and they will soak through absolutely everything, so forewarned is forearmed, is that the saying? So just to show you the pens first, I'm just putting the blender off to the side. I shouldn't call it a blender, the gradient tip thing. Anyway, so this is the little bullet tip. You can see the colour's quite vibrant, they feel quite nice. I haven't had a lot of marker use, but they feel nice to use. They're nice in the hand and they seem to go down okay. And as I say, here's the brush tip, which I just love. You can buy replacement tips for these as well, which is real nice, as well as refills. So they can go on forever and ever and ever. Now here comes the fun part. With this pen, you decide which end you want to use. I'm going to use the brush end just because I can. So I have the brush end and I have the top part with the white nib in it. Now what you do is, there is a hole in there. Stick that in the hole. I'm sure you can all manage that. So we pop that in there. Now the nibs are actually touching in there, and then what we do is we stand it upright, and what's happening is the blender is travelling down into the nib of my marker. Now you can, if you look closely, you can actually see it starting to fade out the colour that's in the end of the marker, which is kind of weird. You leave it for as many seconds and then you take this off. Now if I start colouring, we have this amazing gradient that starts to come in, and then the pen will eventually go back to its normal colour like that. So you can achieve a gradient without any messing about. Obviously it takes practice, you're not going to get it perfect first time, especially when you start moving in sort of rounded shapes and that kind of thing. It does take practice, don't get me wrong. Depending on how long you leave this on your nib will give you the length of the gradient. So I had that on, I can't even say how long I was talking for, but if I only put it on for a second or two, which I'm doing now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I start colouring, you can see that it's much quicker. So it's a bit of trial and error and a bit of practice, but you do get the hang of it eventually. And that is basically how these markers work. I'll try it with another colour just to show you it in a different colour. Interestingly, it's quite amusing in the black because you're going through shades of grey, but I was very sceptical as to whether the black would work properly or not. However, here's my top part, and I want the brush nib, which is this one. So again, same thing, I'm just popping that on there. The nibs are touching in the little chamber. Stand it on its end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go, let's party. And there you go. Lovely grey through to black. No effort required whatsoever, no messing about with extra blenders, that kind of thing. So that's the general idea. Now, in addition to these pens, you can buy separate packs of what they call colour tops. And colour tops are basically these parts with the little chamber and the nib in them, but they have colour in them, as the name might suggest. So again, my friend had these. Obviously she didn't want this part either. So these are, not that one, these are some of the colour tops. I have one in bark, neutral grey and peony pink. You can use these tops with any of the markers, including the black one. And instead of getting this gradient fade from nothing back to your pen colour, you go from one colour to the other. It sounds insane and it sounds as if it's going to be really messy and really muddy, but this is the best fun you can have with your pants on, I swear. To demonstrate my point, I'm going to use the black, and I am going to use the palest of the colours. I'm going to use the pink. So the original markers here, take off your original top with the what looks like the colourless blend in it and put that to the side. Take your colour top. Now you can see in the chamber there, obviously it has the pigment of this colour in it, it's not white. And you do exactly as you did before, pop that on top. So I now have a pale pink on top of black here. And I'm just going to sit here for a little minute and let it do its thing. There, you can see the colour while we're waiting. It's not going to focus on that, is it? Boo. Sing a little song, hum a little tune. Okay, here we go. Look at that. Amazing. Best fun ever. Absolutely best fun ever. I do have a little black line here, and it's just because the nib, when I pressed it into the colour top chamber, it was bent slightly to the side. So you do have to be careful of that, and if you think it's sitting slightly off, you can actually see, I don't know if you can, I've got a slight bend in the top of that nib. Anyway, let's try with another one, just because we're having so much fun. Pop that back on there, that goes back on there. Make sure you're putting the right top back on the right marker. Made that mistake a few times. And always make sure you get one of these little caps with the individual colour tops. Make sure you put it back on because it stops them drying out. That's really important, just like you would with your normal marker. Okay, let's see what we've got. We've got bark. Nude. That should be quite a nice combination. So again, I'm just taking off the colourless topper that comes with the actual marker, and I'm going to pop that to the side. I'll use the brush nib just because I like it. like it a lot. So there we go. Now this should, oh my goodness me, that just flew off. Come back. This should provide a really nice gradient because they are complementing colours, so we'll see how we get on. Stand it on its end. 1, 2, 3. Oh, mine's not on right. Try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here we go. There's the bark. Oh, we're getting paler now. That's pretty neato. Oh no, there's the bark again, my bad. I think this one actually needs a new nib because it's pretty knackered at the end. There's still a bit of dark, I can see it there, it's there. Yep, okay, look at that for a gradient, apart from my mess in the middle. Yeah, this tip's pretty knackered actually. I think this could do with a new tip on it, if I'm honest. So you can buy them, I think they come in packs of 10. I've no idea how much they are, but we can investigate that. So there you have the Chameleon colour tones and the colour top markers. Pretty cool, eh? If you're interested in these kind of markers, then I shall leave a link in the description and you can go and peruse them at your leisure. Okay, the only thing about this is alcohol markers. I'm not used to them and they stink and I can't get used to the smell of them at all. I think they're making me a little bit giddy today. Oh, wowee, that's pretty stinky. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed exploring my haul with me today. I've had excellent fun. Just before I disappear, you can see I've got a little bit of bleed through here. As I said, this is just A4 copy paper. There is nothing special about this paper. So you need to be using marker paper. There isn't anything on the third sheet. Smooth marker paper is best for alcohol markers anyway. So just bear that in mind if you're going to give these a try. And if you're going to use them in a colouring book, oh my goodness, please make sure you put something in between the pages so that you don't ruin the page underneath. Anyway, if you have any questions or suggestions, please feel free to pop them in the comments down below. And if you like this video, can I have a thumbs up, please? That would be real nice. If you're curious to see what else I'm going to get up to, feel free to subscribe, tell your friends over a cup of tea or whatever it is that you do in your spare time. And I'll see you next time in the colouring cave. Bye guys.